Life is all about exchanges. No one gives anything for free, and nothing comes without a price. Whatever you receive from someone, you must give something back to them. Nothing one-sided can last long. The law of fairness and balance in life. It is neither dry nor pragmatic, but rather a sober reminder that helps people clearly see the true nature of relationships and the value of what they possess. In the flow of life, everything we receive, whether material, emotional, or opportunities, is always tied, to some extent, to a trade-off. It may be time, effort, sincerity, or even silent wounds that no one sees. Life does not run on magic, but on the enduring law of giving and receiving. When we receive help, it is not just luck, it is the trust others place in us. And when we give, even in small acts, it carries positive energy that flows back to us. Long-lasting relationships do not endure because one person gives too much, but because both understand the value of balance. If only one side sacrifices while the other simply takes, that bond will sooner or later become fragile and break. Take greater responsibility for what you are receiving. Do not take care for granted, nor see tolerance as an obligation, because when we learn to cherish and respond with kindness, life flows more gently and sustainably. In the end, it is this invisible fairness in exchange that forms the foundation for people to trust, connect, and walk together over the long term. Everyone wants to change the world, but if you can't even fix your own bad habits, what can you accomplish? The essence of change. People often carry grand ideals, longing to do great things, reform society, and make the world better. Yet amid those lofty aspirations, we easily forget one fundamental truth. The outside world only truly changes when the inner world of each person begins to shift. Changing oneself has never been easy. It demands honesty to face flaws directly, courage to admit mistakes, and persistence to improve little by little. Seemingly small bad habits, laziness, hot-temperedness, procrastination, or selfishness, if left unchecked, will quietly erode willpower and hollow out even the noblest ideals. A person who cannot master themselves, no matter how grand their words, will struggle to create lasting value through their actions. Start with yourself. When someone lives with more discipline, kindness, and responsibility for their words and actions, they quietly contribute to making the world a better place in a profound way. Because lasting change does not come from loud slogans, but from people brave enough to improve themselves every day. And it is from such people that the world gradually transforms for the better. Study while others sleep. Work while others are idle. Prepare while others play. And you will dream while others only wish. William Arthur Ward, The Silent Law of Success. In a noisy world where people are easily swept away by instant gratification, this quote shines like a small light on moments few notice, the quiet, tiring, and lonely hours. While others sleep comfortably, someone quietly sits at their desk, accumulating knowledge bit by bit, like gathering grains of sand to build a solid foundation for the future. While others give in to laziness, someone persists in working, letting sweat fall like raindrops, nurturing a growing dream. The value of discipline and choice. Success is not a miracle that appears overnight. It is the result of countless quiet, repeated decisions, often unseen by anyone. Like a seed buried in dark soil, enduring pressure and weathering storms before it can rise to meet the sun. While others only dare to wish, the persistent person quietly turns that wish into a plan, then into action, and finally, into reality. Every moment of effort today is a brick building tomorrow's future. And one day, looking back, we will understand that dreams do not come from luck, but from late nights, early mornings, and unwavering faith in the path we've chosen. Fake it until you make it. Act as if you are completely confident until it becomes reality. Tracy. The power of the mind and the ability to shape oneself. At first glance, faking it sounds insincere. But in truth, it is the art of planting seeds of belief in yourself. Even when you don't yet feel strong enough, no one is born confident. Confidence is built gradually through experience, action, and sometimes by playing the role of a better version of yourself. When you walk with steady steps, even if your heart still trembles, your brain gradually learns to believe you truly have the ability. Like an actor immersing in a role, the longer you perform, the more real the emotions become. The more you act confident, the more you break down invisible barriers built by fear. Confidence, therefore, is not a gift from the outside, but the result of inner training, nurtured through repeated actions every day. Waiting until you're good enough or fully ready to start may mean never starting at all. It is acting while still imperfect that creates growth. Like someone learning to swim must dare to enter the water despite a racing heart, we too must step out of our comfort zone to discover our true potential. And then, at some point, you will realize the confidence you once pretended has quietly become a natural, solid, and authentic part of who you are. Many things in life are like passing wind and drifting clouds. Only by cherishing what we have can we avoid regret in life. The fragile nature of human existence. Life passes quickly like a breeze, carrying away moments, emotions, and people we once took for granted. Some things we see as ordinary while they last. Only when they're gone do we suddenly realize their true value. This saying is a gentle reminder that not everything remains forever for us to love when we're free or cherish when we're mature enough. In the rush of life, we often chase what we don't yet have, forgetting to hold close what is already in our hands. Happiness sometimes lies not in distant dreams, but in a warm meal, a sincere greeting, or a peaceful moment of being yourself. Those things are like drifting clouds, gentle and quiet. If we don't pay attention, they vanish without a trace. Knowing how to pause and feel the present is the longest lasting way to preserve happiness. When we learn to cherish what we have, our hearts compare less, regret less, and life naturally feels more complete. Because ultimately, what brings peace is not possessing a lot, but fully loving what is beside us. Life is not a war against others, but a long-distance race against yourself. In a competitive society, people often unconsciously trap themselves in endless comparison. Who is better? Who succeeds sooner? Who has more? But in reality, life is not a battlefield where we must defeat others to prove our worth. It is a long journey where the greatest and most honest opponent is yesterday's version of ourselves. Every day, we face our own limits, fears, bad habits, and procrastination. Overcoming a bit of laziness, persisting one more step through difficulty, or daring to change an old mindset. These are all quiet, yet deeply meaningful victories. This race is not loud, with no cheers or rankings, but it demands endurance, patience, and honesty with oneself, because no one can run it for us, and no one understands our path better than we do. When we understand this, we compare less, envy others' success less, and learn to focus on improving ourselves day by day. Success, then, is no longer measured by surpassing others, but by how much better we are today than yesterday. And along that long journey, the most precious thing is not the finish line, but the quiet growth formed with every steady step. Sometimes, people aren't stubbornly refusing to forgive. They're simply waiting forever for a chance to forgive. Forgiveness is never easy, but what can be harder is never being given the opportunity to offer it. Because forgiveness cannot exist in a vacuum. It needs an apology, an acknowledgement, or at least a sincere attitude, so the hurt person can release the pain in their heart. Many are misunderstood as stubborn, cold, or narrow-minded, but in truth, they are simply standing in the silence of unhealed wounds. When pain arrives without explanation, when silence replaces understanding, the human heart gradually closes as a natural defense, not because they don't want to forgive, but because they don't know what to forgive, whom to forgive, or how. Forgiveness cannot be forced, nor can it be one-sided endurance. The value of dialogue and responsibility in relationships. Sometimes, a single sincere apology is enough to open a door that has been closed for a very long time in someone's heart. Because people are not lacking in compassion. They only lack a reason to believe their pain has been truly understood. When we learn to put ourselves in others' shoes, admit faults, and make amends, forgiveness ceases to be a luxury and becomes a bridge, reconnecting hearts that once drifted apart. You cannot look too far ahead. If you look too far, you will completely miss what's right in front of you and stumble. You must look a little farther, or you'll crash into something. You must follow the proper sequence while keeping an eye on what lies ahead. It does not encourage rushing blindly toward ambition, nor does it promote complacency. Instead, it emphasizes the necessary balance between the present and the future, something not everyone is awake enough to recognize. In life, many people are so focused on distant goals and grand achievements that they forget where their feet are standing right now. When we fixate too much on the destination, we easily overlook small but important tasks in the present, like someone walking while staring at the sky, unaware of the uneven path beneath their feet. The result is stumbling, exhaustion, or even losing direction. Conversely, if we only focus on the immediate moment without any long-term vision, we risk becoming trapped, living on autopilot, unsure of where we're heading. Look far enough to have goals, but close enough to walk steadily. Every stage of the journey must be taken at the right pace, neither hurried nor distracted. When we learn to watch ahead while cherishing each present step, we avoid unnecessary falls and move forward with endurance and clarity. That is the wise way to travel life's long road. Not rushing, not blindly, but steadily and in control of our own journey. We don't get to do too many things, so make sure everything we do is truly excellent, because this is our life. It does not urge us to live hastily or force us to be extraordinary. It simply reminds us to deeply recognize the finite nature of time and the weight of every choice we make, because life does not offer countless do-overs. Each passing day is irreversible, and therefore, every action carries the meaning of a one-time opportunity. Doing something truly excellent does not necessarily mean grand achievements or dazzling fame. Sometimes, it simply means fulfilling our current role well, treating those around us with kindness, daring to pursue what we believe in, and staying true to our own dreams. Excellence lies in the wholehearted attitude we bring to living, in pouring our heart into whatever we choose, no matter how small or ordinary. When we live superficially, days pass like blank pages, but when we live consciously, every moment leaves a mark. No one else can live for us or bear our regrets and remorse. So instead of hesitating, calculating, or fearing, dare to live in a way that moves your heart. Because when we look back, what brings the greatest peace is not how much we achieved, but knowing we lived fully, sincerely, and worthily of the time we were given on this earth. I like to think big. If you're going to think anyway, you might as well think big. How people confront their own limitations. Thinking is inevitable in life, so why shrink our ideas, dreams, and aspirations into a safe, small box? Thinking big does not mean being unrealistic. It means daring to expand our vision and allowing ourselves to believe we can go further than what is right in front of us. People often limit themselves with fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being capable enough. But those invisible barriers are what keep us circling forever in familiar comfort. Thinking big is the act of breaking those mental limits, allowing ourselves to set goals that others might doubt, but that make our hearts race. When we dare to think big, thoughts guide actions, and even small actions carry within them a wider, more open direction. It does not encourage unrealistic fantasy, but highlights the power of vision. Those who dare to think big are usually also those who dare to learn, accept mistakes, and persistently pursue what they believe in, because in the end, every great achievement began as a bold thought. And if life grants us the right to dream, why not dream in a way that's worthy, so that when we look back, we can smile and say, I did not live a small life. Rules are made to be broken. Throughout history, it has been those who dared to question existing limits who changed the world. If everyone followed rules absolutely, there would be no inventions, no progress, and no revolutionary turning points for humanity. Rules exist to maintain order, but when they become barriers, stifling creativity and growth, breaking them becomes a necessary act. However, breaking here does not mean destruction or rejecting all old values. It is the courage to ask, is this still relevant? Is there a better way? Those who dare to go against the grain often face doubt, criticism, even fierce opposition. But they are the ones who open new paths for the many. Every major advance in science, art, or social thought began the moment someone dared to step beyond the safe boundary of, this is how it's always been. Creativity truly flourishes only when people are not bound by fear of being wrong. When we dare to break an old rule, not to rebel, but to find a better way, we help expand the boundaries of human possibility. And sometimes, from those acts of breaking, a new order, more progressive, more humane, emerges.